Welcome to Trial by Wine. We take a closer look at crimes that highlight how fascinating humans can be. Schmidty, Swanee and Clarkey visit crimes and run them through their jury of three, debating both sides of the case to agree an appropriate, if totally fictitious, sentence. Please be advised, Trial by Wine may include explicit or disturbing content and will include drunken rambling. Listener discretion is advised. All right. I just looked at you, Paul, and you're like, oh. How are
Was
we?
I think I just had a
were.
mental flashback of work go through my head as I was watching the numbers kick down and just went, ugh. I'm good though, other than that. Yeah, that's right.
What have you been up to?
We had my niece's 21st on Friday, which was almost 10 months later than her actual birth date. My stepmom's 80th, which was lovely. Relaxing weekend in Melbourne. Well, a relaxing day in Melbourne on the Saturday. So it was, quite nice. How about yourself?
Yeah, not bad. This last weekend, I was helping, that theatre company is like a chasm I cannot escape. So I was helping at the auditions for the next show. They're doing We Will Rock You. Anyway, that's my weekend. And Swanee's back, but of course we didn't tell her that we were recording tonight because I figure she's got jet lag and has got better things to do. Yeah. Although I'm a bit sad because I think she would thoroughly enjoy the topic of this evening's chat. But before we get to that, I suppose we should introduce ourselves, even though we're one down. I'm Schmidty.
I'm Clarkey.
I'm Wooey.
And together we are Trial by Wine.
Without Swanee, minus Swanee.
Yes.
But Swanee will be back in the next recording, so that'll be fun to see her again and hear about her travels. What are you guys drinking?
We're having a little All Saints 2018 Cab Sav, which is quite lovely.
It's delicious.
Bit light, bit smooth, just what we want for a Monday night.
Very nice. Well, I'm on, I spoke earlier that I was on the wagon. Well, I fell off that a little bit because we launched... No, well, actually I did. Probably because I had been on the wagon for 3 weeks. We launched my project. We had a big party on Friday night and I was tray dusty on Saturday. Today I am drinking, I think it's Lyre's Dark Cane Spirit, and it really just tastes a bit like burnt sugar in a
Lyre's
bottle.
is appropriate for a non-alcoholic rum.
Lyres. But it's okay. It's not bad. But I actually, to make it even better, I've mixed it with a dash of Sailor Jerry. So I've got a little bit of non and a little bit of real, but I'm cutting it so that I can ease myself in. And also I'm doing the story today, and we all know how the pirate juice affects Schmidty. Ha-har!
Ha-har, ha-har. Yes, indeed.
So...
do you have a story for us?
Tell you something? Yes, I do. Well, yeah, I do. I have a story. I have a little bit of a background, I suppose. So it all stems from our last recording session, when you introduced me to a teenage vigilante who called himself Shadow Vision, if you recall.
I do recall,
and then that led us to discover the absolute wealth of information and interest that was Tothian, or Tothian, depending on how you like to say it, whose FAQs gave us something to really think about, and some more.
Yes,
so of course,
I recall, yes.
Once I discovered that there was this whole world of real superheroes that walk amongst us, I thought, I really have to have a closer look at that. I've got to understand this a bit more. And what I discovered was that Trial by Wine has some interesting parallels with these justice heroes.
Really?
Well, I think so. In as much as some of them are disaffected with the legal system and feel the need to do something about it. And we don't actually do anything about it, but we certainly make up stupid and ludicrous sentences for people and a completely fictitious theme park, Trial by Wine World, where we send them to. And a lot of that is, often born of our own impatience or our own frustration with how the legal systems in various countries work. That's why we are the judge, jury and executioner on our podcast. But we don't go out there patrolling the streets. And we don't try to make the world a safer place.
That's where the similarity ends.
Talk shit and drink. That's right.
We trade our capes for wine.
That's right. We have a like a beer cape or a wine cape. Yeah, it keeps us warm too.
Yes, nice.
But I want to ask, what do you think happens when real life superheroes fall foul of the law? And does donning a costume make it okay to take the law into your own hands?
Well, I don't have the answers,
Mm.
but I feel like you do.
Not yet.
Hmm.
Not yet. Well, look, first, who are these masked men and women? And how prolific is real superheroing? And yes, I made that word up, but I feel since
I
real
think it's a good
superheroes are pretty
word.
made up too, I think it's
Hmm.
appropriate.
What are you doing on the weekend? I'm superheroing.
Yeah, for I am a superhero. That's right.
Superheroing is the verb for superheroes noun
I think so.
or something.
I
Yeah.
think so. I think if we looked up Merriam or Webster, they'd tell us that.
Let's go with that. Why would we look
Yeah,
it up? We'll just make it up.
correct. So, according to Wikipedia, superheroes hail from many countries across the globe. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but
I'm not.
mostly there are one or two. No, neither was I. This is all very new to me. It's a bit like when I introduced you to Reborn Dolls and you'd never heard of them before.
Mm.
This is like me. I just discovered this whole little, let's call it franchise. There's one or two in most countries, and not all countries, but there's, about 25
One or
countries on
two
the
in
list.
most countries.
About 25
That's
countries have at least one or two named superhero. That's right. I know.
wow.
So
As
much
in
more than you'd
like
imagine.
as in not real life superheroes, but like Superman or Batman or something like that, or actually Tothians.
Tothians, people who get dolled up in their costumes and they have pseudonyms for themselves because it's too dangerous for the world to know who they really are. And they run
Of course.
around doing superhero type deeds.
Would it be lonely if you were the one in, the country of one superhero, or would that be better because then you get all the glory for all the crimes that you
Actually,
stop?
it's interesting, and in some respects, I'm going to say it would be better, and it's something that I talk about at the end of this around the culture that exists within this little world. So we were talking before we started about toxic work cultures. Well, I think superheroes could do with some, HR. Is all I got to say,
Oh
especially
God,
from what I've read. Yeah,
less
yeah.
HR.
I know. Whoever thought I'd ever say anyone needed HR?
Yeah, that's right. What? Who are you?
I know. Anyway, even though there's one or two in some countries, with the exception of that is of course our friends in the US of A, where there are at least 19. But I did note that Shadow Vision and Tothian were not on the list, so
Oh well, there's at
clearly the
least
list is
21.
incomplete.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The list is not complete. Whoever's updating Wikipedia on this is Mr. Trick. So, the deeds that these individuals concentrate on are often community work, such as helping the homeless, helping victims of abuse or bullying. And we actually have our own Captain Australia who does a lot of work raising money for cancer charities. And of course, they also attempt to
These aren't
deter crime.
superheroes. They're like do-gooders or something. Like
Well, you
if
want to be
they.
careful.
No, I don't.
Well, you want to be.
You know
Well, I think
me.
you're starting to sound like someone.
Who?
I'll
Bernadette?
get on to it.
Uh,
No, no. You start to
um,
sound like our old mate Tothian here. Yep, but go on.
well, no, I think he's probably got a point. Like, if people, if stopping the perpetrator in the act of violence or just before they cause it is
A
working with
heroic.
people, no, that's okay. But if they're
No,
just once it's happened, if you just sit down and have a cup of tea with them and talk them through the legal process SVU style, well, that's not superheroism. And if oh, yeah, no, I don't think these people are superheroes, but do continue.
that's okay. That's okay because I think you've hit on the point that the definition isn't really clear. So there are, of the ones that I've talked about being named on Wikipedia, there are quite a few of those who are more of the charity end and trying to do things for charity groups. Sometimes they set their own charity groups up as well,
I'm
and then
fundraiser
pay ambassadors.
man.
Pretty much, yeah,
Not
yeah,
really.
yeah. But like basically, old mate Tothian has a blog from 2012 on this, where he does what you just did and says the charity work isn't the work of a superhero; it's misguided and the antithesis of being a superhero. But to be honest, I think Tothian, who also blogs about gun control being a bad thing, and he is very pro-Trump, so I think he's a dick. So I'm quite happy to accept that people who do really good works of community work can be superheroes.
If
And maybe
by
that's why he's not on the list.
yeah, well, that could be it. If by fundraising you mean rob from the rich and give to the poor, Robin Hood style, that's more like a superhero, albeit still not a superhero.
Well, it's an example of one. Super Reader. He fights illiteracy across America by organising reading activities.
Fuck off, Super Reader. Like,
You think that's a
seriously.
bit lame?
Well, it's like Bookworm. Like, at least Bookworm didn't profess to be something he wasn't. It just got on and taught people to get involved with
Well,
books.
he wears a cape and a mask at every public event he organises,
God,
and
I hope
he
there's
has an
not too many of
organisation.
them.
Yeah, no, he's done quite a lot of work. His organisation, the American Literacy Corp, has since hosted reading events in nearly every state in America, and Super Reader himself has personally read to more than 250,000 children across the country. I
What
mean,
can
that's pretty super.
what's super about his reading? Just the fact that he does
I
lots
don't
of
know
it.
that he's. I think it's that he does lots of it, and he's trying to raise the profile of
Wanker,
literacy as an issue.
wanker. He's
Is he a wanker, or is he just
oh,
someone
completely
using a platform because he doesn't really believe in superheroism as in a superpower?
super reader. Like, fuck, mate. If he could read, 78 different languages, you might go, oh, that's pretty good. But just because you go
All
around
right,
and read
so
books to kids, there's
okay,
teachers in
so
schools across the globe who do that.
absolutely, and I think they are heroes.
He's
But
off
you
my
don't think they're
list. I want to.
superheroes?
I want to see a fight between Toadie and Super Reader.
Well, Super Reader might have. I think we have two columns here, and we're going to have one that's lame and one that's got merit. Maybe,
High fat, low
maybe
fat.
high fat, low fat. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's low fat for
All
sure.
right, so based on that, let's determine whether Captain Australia is low fat. Captain Australia is described as a
He
middle-aged father who
fundraises
he
like
does a
low
bit, but
fat.
he also does crime deferment. Hang on. He
Oh,
also tries to deter crime. So hold your horses.
okay. I jumped the gun
This
again. I
man,
always do that.
he patrols the streets of Brisbane in a green and gold suit, of course, because it's Australian colours, and a mask like Captain America. Maybe he's a distant
You've
cousin.
got to be
And he's got
kidding.
an at symbol on his chest
An
and a
at
Batman
symbol.
style, like
Yeah, I know, but what the fuck?
like trial by wine at
At
gmail.com.
gmail.com. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know why, but he has that on his top, and he has a Batman style utility belt. But I did enjoy the note on the list of this real superhero wiki page that I was reading that said, police have expressed their preference that Captain Australia not intervene in incidents.
Yeah, I'm with police on that one. Well, no,
So
actually,
he's
tell me
apparently,
how he does intervene with incidents before I make
yeah,
that decision.
I think I read that he goes around with a mobile phone and maybe a torch. I'm not sure about that, and or a camera, and
And
but he
records
films
them.
people and he rings the police up and he dobs them in.
He's
Yeah,
like neighborhood
there are a
watch.
few
He's
basically,
like
and there are
Nell
quite a
Mangle
few
from
super
Neighbours.
snitches. Yeah,
Yeah,
there are a few super snitches in the list.
lame,
Yes.
lame.
Okay,
Is
low
that his
fat.
crime deterrent? The Nell Mangle superpower?
It is. I think it's the filming and and ringing the police.
He's a
Yeah.
dirty
Yeah.
voyeur.
He's
Get him
also a
off.
father of two. I think he's a father of two, and he had cancer, and he was very sick, and it concerns him that children can also be affected. So he's done a lot of work raising money for
I'm
charity
not saying he's not a
family
nice bloke. He's just not a
groups.
superhero. Lame.
He's just used his platform. He's just used his
Lame.
platform to try and do
No.
good.
He's
Lame.
used someone else. He's used someone else's platform to try to elevate himself.
Springboard
Just
himself.
just do what you do and do it well, but don't pretend that you're a superhero because you run around recording people.
Okay. All right. Well, he's on the low fat list. There's also a man in Sydney who wears all black. He's got a knife resistant outfit and he calls himself the Black Rat of Sydney. He
Oh,
carries a
God.
backpack with get this, he carries a backpack with a fire blanket and a fire extinguisher, first aid kit, and drinking water. Now, I assume he patrols the parts of Sydney that are given to spontaneous combustion, given what he actually carries around with him. He's always waiting
Okay.
for someone to burst into flames.
Yeah.
But he also campaigns for better street lighting and community involvement in neighbourhoods.
See, like, do one thing. Like, I was getting excited because he had a knife-proof suit on. I thought, oh
I
well,
don't know why he needs it.
at
If all he's
least
doing
he's.
is putting fires out, why isn't he wearing an asbestos suit?
And what was the
Put a
second bit he's
fire
doing?
retardant suit on.
What's the second bit
Drinking
he's
water and
doing?
first aid.
No, no, but
Campaigns for better street lighting.
like, what's the
Maybe
risk?
because he.
The
Well, I
light
think
globe
because he wears all
explodes.
black. No, but he's always wearing black, right? So he's walking around and people are knocking into him and he's getting nearly hit by cars because there's no street lighting. Maybe he should wear high vis, is all I'm saying.
I think he should wear a light suit, and then he could just show what better street lighting
Exactly.
would do. Imagine the beauty of this place if it was lit up. Yeah,
True.
lame. I like he had me a little bit with that knife-proof suit because I thought he was actually going to need it, but no.
I don't think so. Okay, so I bet you didn't know this next fact, that Spider-Man is real and he lives in
Correct.
Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
God, has he got 8 legs? Did he completely
No, he
miss
looks just
what
like
Spider-Man means?
No, he wears the same outfit as Spider-Man and he calls himself Spider-Man.
Right.
And he behaves like Spider-Man because he is Spider-Man.
Have Marvel tried to sue him?
No, I
Because
don't
actually,
believe
mate,
Marvel
you're
or
not.
any of these.
Let's
think
dob
they
him in.
bother. I'm honest, I don't
They
think
don't
they bother.
bother. Yeah, it's probably a fair point.
No.
He's just advertising.
Yeah, look, he never intervenes in crimes, but he keeps an eye out and reports them back to the police. So I think he's super snitch man again.
Nell Mangle.
And I think that's a new Nell Mangle for you. Super snitch man is my new
For those of you who don't
that
know,
I have.
I'll put a photo of Nell Mangle up on our social media for so everyone can see who she is.
I did see. Now, if anyone would like to check out the real Spider-Man, he has an Insta handle, which is Spider-Man Winnipeg, all one word. And he has lots of photos of him rocking the suit and posing. There's one shot with him that looks like he's scaling down a downpipe. And it's a very dark night when this photo is taken. He's looking directly at the camera. And the eyes on the suit are reflective. And I swear to God, if I had seen that at night, I would have had an absolute heart attack. If I'd seen this bizarre person up on a wall with these reflective eyes. It was terrifying.
Oh, it's Daniel Radcliffe. Look.
Oh, it is too. Oh, I didn't see that photo. Oh, sorry about that, Daniel. I've just outed you. Who knows? The whole thing's ridiculous.
Is it? Lame then? Are you calling lame?
Oh, sorry. Did I just say something that spoke my inner thoughts, which is that I think this is all nonsense and these people, need a new hobby, or it is just a hobby, right? Okay.
I think his crime is being an imposter.
Well, I don't know which came first. I'm pretty sure not him, but sure. I don't like to cast nasturtiums on this one, So one of the earliest examples of a real life superhero was California's Richard Allen Pester, whose alias was Captain Sticky.
Hang on a minute. Oh no, not Captain Sticky. God, also known as Miggs. I'm confused by real life superhero because they're a real life person, but they have nothing real about their superpowers.
Oh, I wouldn't say that to them.
Yeah,
They believe that they have superpowers, that they are superheroes. They doll up in the outfits and they go out and they fight crime.
I can't wait now. I need to hear about Sticky Man's superpower.
Captain Sticky.
And I'm hoping it's not what I think it is.
It's a bit of both. Captain Sticky, starting around 1974, he was clad in a blue jumpsuit with gold lame cape and boots, and he drove the Sticky Mobile.
Jesus.
And he campaigned against... Well, he was really ahead of his time, though, because he campaigned against abuses in nursing homes. Don't ask me why. Probably his elderly parents were in them, because he looks about 50 at this time. He supplied information on health insurance frauds to authorities and advocated for consumer rights. He testified before the Federal Trade Commission hearings in 1978 and Congress in 1979 wearing his uniform, in inverted commas.
Brilliant.
But
order in the court.
Yes. A slight fall from grace was in 1986 when he rented his house to a film crew who were shooting a porn, and he was arrested. Yes, but he is
What?
Captain Sticky after all, and he
Some.
did look a bit like Ron Jeremy, the porn
Oh,
star.
you
You know,
need
the
Carla.
1970s porn, or she would know.
Yeah,
But same
pop
sort of
culture.
portly, curly, wildly curly hair.
Mm.
Do you know you know when I did Eileen Warnos and we had a little look at her not very effective defense attorney,
Mm-hmm.
Steve something or other. And he looked a bit like him. That was
Yeah, right.
Captain Sticky.
Why was he called Captain Sticky?
That's what he called himself. Who knows, right? Who knows? Seemed like a good idea at the time.
I thought he was going to be
Maybe
like
he just said
Miggs
it
running
once.
around going.
Maybe he just. Oh, stop it. Maybe he just said it once and it stuck. I don't
Oh, there you
know.
go.
Waka, waka, waka.
I'm here all night.
So, my particular favourite out of all of them, I really do think this person is a hero, is a real life superhero who operates out of London. And his moniker is Angle Grinder Man. And he
Does
cuts the
he?
clamps off cars. Yes, he cuts
Oh,
little clamps off cars.
yes. Yes.
Now that's what I call a hero.
That's
Bloody
a
oath.
vigilante,
Yeah.
but I like it.
That's high fat.
Well,
Yes.
that's the thing about sorry, but that's the thing about these
That
guys
is-
is some of them are vigilantes, and so and then but they think they're superheroes. So that's kind of that little line.
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
what
He's
do
on
we
the
think? Do you
Batman
think they're
end
doing the
of
right thing or the wrong thing?
superheroes.
Oh, Angle Grinder Man's tops. There are sadly too many superheroes to name. So I'm going to now concentrate on the story of Pheonix Jones. Have you heard of Pheonix
Alright.
Jones?
Nope. I have not.
To do this research, I've watched a few YouTube programs, done some reading, but I particularly enjoyed the insane world of a real life superhero, the Pheonix Jones saga, which is available on YouTube. I also read articles from The Guardian, and I have used a lot of Wikipedia, because it gives me a good timeline of events.
I'm just shocked at how much you've taught me already.
It's
And now there
incredible.
actually is
It's
more to
this
come.
whole other world.
And we're
It's
going to
this
get
whole other
Pacific
world.
about it.
Oh, we're going to get Pacific. I think I'm going to need some more pirate juice for it, but we're getting more Pacific. That's right. Okay, so Pheonix Jones, who was born Benjamin John Francis Fodor in 1998 in Texas, is an American real-life superhero. Now, Fodor was a daycare center worker, and I'm not sure if he still does it, and he worked with autistic kids. So before he even donned his first mask, I thought he was doing pretty positive work. So he did very much have an outlook of, or has an outlook of, trying to do the right thing by community and be a good person. But for whatever reason, he decided he needed to be a superhero.
Yes.
So initially,
Go Phoenix. This is what we want.
I do know why. His origin story is so piss poor, it's not funny, but I'll get onto it.
Okay.
Initially wearing a ski mask to intervene in a public assault, Fodor later developed a full costume, which cost around 10 grand, and adopted
That's
Pheonix
commitment.
Jones. Absolutely. Adopted Pheonix Jones as a pseudonym. From 2011 until its dissolution in 2014, Jones was the leader of the Rain City superhero movement in Seattle, Washington, based on citizen patrol group that described itself as a crime prevention brigade. And yes, they all wore costumes and all had superhero names because they were all superheroes.
I wish Pheonix Jones had have just gone with Phoenix.
Yeah, I don't understand the Jones.
The Jones bit just waters it all down and makes it sound less legit.
Don't know. Jones says the best way to prevent getting mistaken for a criminal by the police is to wear a supersuit. So maybe that does explain why they've got all these jazzy outfits. Although the local police have expressed concern that the strange costumes may lead to emergency calls from citizens who mistake the superheroes for criminals. Jones says that all members of the
Very
Rain City
confusing.
superhero movement, I know, well, I don't know if the local people would see a man dressed in a superhero suit out on a Saturday night intervening in a crime and think that they were a criminal, or just think that they were a bit nuts. But
I'd
either
totally
way,
go
they
with the
probably
nuts.
might call the police.
Or fancy dress party. But I do think, to be fair, Superman had moments, as did Batman, where the community thought they were criminals and so didn't like them, and then they had to redeem themselves. So it kind of is consistent with superheroes, isn't it?
Phoenix Jones couldn't be more a superhero in terms of the trope of a superhero than Superman or Batman and all those for exactly that reason. So so exactly as you say, it's the whole thing, and I'll get onto it, but like the media love him, the media hate him. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
we have this exactly the same as in real
It's
superheroes.
not easy being a superhero.
It is not easy at all.
Can we have said what we should have discussed, and maybe we still should, is if we were a superhero, what would our superpower be?
Oh.
Maybe we
Yeah,
can have
no,
that as a.
absolutely. Yeah. But now I've got to think
Yeah.
about that though. So you can't just
Yeah,
spring
so
shit like that on me.
well, no, because now we can have that discussion at the end.
Yeah.
Well,
Let me think
so we've got a
about it.
minute to think.
Oh no,
Goodness.
I've got a bit more to go. I've only just started the Phoenix Jones story.
That's what I'm saying. You got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Calm your farm.
I was
Yep.
saying.
My farm is so
got a couple
calm.
of minutes to think about it.
You'd think that I drug the
Because
animals.
yours is a gunge farm. It's like the chillest farm ever.
But the other thing that's important to know is that Jones says that all members of the Rain City superhero movement have a military or mixed arts. Sorry, mixed arts. That's me. They're a musical
arts.
theatre.
Yeah.
Mixed martial arts. I missed out the important word
I'm
there.
very good at crochet.
Yeah.
I'm going to save the world through crochet.
No, it's,
Or I'll just
it could
sketch it.
work with the criminals catching. You know, criminals came away with something. You go, no, wait.
I'll just write it
stop.
down.
No,
Hang
yeah,
on.
no, let me frame that picture.
Yeah.
There you go.
All that
Yes.
shit.
A bit of interpretive dance. I feel like you could have 28 super fast knitters helping Spider-Man shoot knitting webs, but they have to be in a line behind him going really fast knitting.
Absolutely. I think there's actually a word. There is something, an apparatus you can buy. It's some kind of net that you throw at criminals to stop, or people to stop them getting away. And I think one of those involves our friend Phoenix Jones. So I'll return to Mr. Jones now.
Do tell.
So they've all got a martial arts background, rather, or military. And remember our mate Tothian, he was ex-military or something.
Not
Or I think
just.
we actually worked out that he just went to like the reserves or the college, like the kids version, didn't we?
Yeah. He was ex-security.
Yeah. Anyway, at the
Didn't
local
quite
pub.
get in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jones himself is also a mixed martial artist, signed to World Series of Fighting, where he has fought at 2 catch weights, each included fighting his older foster brother, UFC Strikeforce, and 1 championship fighter, Karos Foda. I don't know what
I don't
any
know
of
what
that
any of that
meant.
means.
Yeah, neither do I.
Yeah, no.
Basically, it means that
What
he's
was
actually
that middle one? US Strike Force.
UFC. Isn't that
Oh,
that's something?
UFC. Yeah, Fight Club or Fight.
I don't know. Anyway, the point is he actually gets paid, I think, in to go and do like
Rubles.
no to go and do like demonstration fights, champion type fights. He's a boxer
Right.
or martial arts fighter, but he's
Mixed martial arts is a thing, isn't it?
yeah. And I think he gets paid to do it. So the point is he's semi-professional in that. So we're talking about a person
When you
who,
say he's a boxer, do you mean
I don't
he
mean boxer, I
chases parked cars and has his face squashed in and goes and licks
No.
people a lot?
does have some involvement with
That would be a
parked cars.
great superhero.
He does have some involvement with parked cars, but no, I don't think he chases cars
okay.
per se, unless they've got a bad person in them and he's giving chase to get that bad person.
Right.
Now,
Right, yes.
I spoke earlier about his piss poor origin story, and here it is.
Yes.
After his son cut himself on broken glass caused by their car being broken into, Jones decided it was necessary to take matters into his own hands. That sounds fair, yeah?
Right.
Yeah, that's a great origin
Well,
story. Yeah.
Just it's not I got bit by a nuclear something or other spider
That's
or
right.
I'm from another planet, but it's
My kid
I
got
can see it.
my
It's a
kid
bit
got
more
cut.
Batman style, isn't it? Yeah, I saw my parents get killed.
That's right, by a bad guy. Yeah, my kid cut himself on some broken glass
Kid
because our
got
car
cut
broken
by a
into.
bit of growth.
I'm very angry. I'm very angry.
Yes.
The
Just put
police
a
are not
fucking
doing
Band-Aid on
enough.
him and go back and watch TV.
Well, he went on to develop a full costume and pseudonym when his crime fighting behaviour made him too recognisable. So, I said earlier he started out with just like a ski mask and that, and then people started to work out who he was. And so he had to doll himself up into this incredible creature that no one could ever recognise. And of course, the media lapped all this up. And in a CBS News broadcast, Jones is shown entering a back room of an unnamed comic book store in which he changes into costume, which consists of a dragon skin brand bulletproof vest and stab plating, as well as equipment including a stun baton, pepper spray or tear gas, handcuffs, and a first aid kit. I think he needs the first aid kit more often than not, in honesty.
I think that's
Mm.
yeah. I'm kind of
We just upped the
confused by
ante then,
needing
didn't
the
we?
Yeah.
no. You almost watered it down. Like I've got all these things to attack criminals with, so I can disarm them,
No, I just meant
and then I'm going to get a first aid kit.
we went from Captain Australia, who carries a phone and a camera,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and then some other guys who've got a fire extinguisher and a fire blanket. But this guy's got tear gas.
Oh, I reckon Phoenix isn't lame
Taser.
yet. Like he's medium fat at the moment, and he still could go either way. But I like the fact that he's got tear gas and stuff. I wish he could shoot them out of his hands, or
He's
like
not smart,
even
mate.
out of an umbrella, like Penguin did. He used to have things that he could shoot
gas
out of
come
his
out,
umbrella. I think that would be good.
He did tell a story at some point early in his superhero career where he used one of these nets I was talking about. I think it's a throwing net or something.
Yeah.
And he got himself caught in it. And the police had to come and get him out of his own net.
That's what worries me about him. That
A
he's
little bit of
he's
trial and
almost
error.
there, but
Mm.
like having tear gas, if it's just in the same format that anyone can have tear gas in, and I don't know what that is, then it doesn't feel super. But if it comes out of your umbrella, or a flower on your chest, or I don't know, something different.
Yeah, he does it. He just
Um,
sprays it out of a can. It's not special.
Yeah, like that's just dime a dozen. It's not super, it's normal, but you need to have that other delivery method.
Maybe a Pez dispenser.
Pez dispenser would work.
I reckon that would work.
So on the media thing, there are lots of debate about whether real life superheroes should be doing the job of local police enforcement, and it was as I said earlier, life imitating art. So you've got all these
Is there-
superhero tropes, you've got all these Marvel and DC comic stories about superheroes and the media villainizing them or saying that they're heroes. That's exactly what started to happen to this particular individual.
Is there really lots of debate about whether or not he should be doing the
Oh,
job
there was
of the
tons.
police?
Yeah. There's loads of footage
Right.
of the local media talking to him, talking to others. You've got news broadcasters saying, what you're doing is ridiculous. And then others saying, no, he's standing up for our rights. He's amazing. He's doing more than the police. It was so Fox News, it's not funny. Although it was CBS
I
and
feel
others, yeah.
I feel like with his array of tools on his utility belt, he probably should be fighting or doing crowd control at protests and marches.
Okay.
Because we saw one on the weekend and it was pretty lame, but there were people using milk to wash the capsicum spray out of their eyes, and we thought that was pretty cool.
The people who'd been sprayed brought their own milk, or other people came
Yeah,
with
100%,
milk?
because they're used to it. They were just serial protesters who then clearly get a little bit carried away and then get sprayed probably most weekends. And then
It's not a
they
good
probably
protest if you haven't had to use milk in your eyes, eh?
No, that's right. You know how people have those medieval weekends and they all dress up and do weird ass things? I feel like these people were professional
Like
protesters,
larpers.
whereby when there wasn't a protest going on, they would go and have practice drills so that, if you did get sprayed, you know exactly how to handle it without too many tears.
You're probably quite right. Terrorists
Phoenix
do
should
that sort of
attend
thing
that.
too.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Now,
I reckon Phoenix would be good at a march like that, though.
yeah,
Sorry.
I think he would. We might even get onto that. Now, water finds its own level, doesn't it?
It does.
And Jones later became part of that Rain City superhero movement, and he met and married his lovely wife, Purple Rain. And yes, she's also a superhero, although she's
And
inactive
can you actually
now.
say her name once? Or like the song, should you say it like 10 times?
Oh, when I read it, it was said 10 times, so maybe it is exactly like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
song. Yeah.
Purple rain, purple rain.
Yeah, she has subsequently left him. I can't imagine why. And
Shock me.
but there was again footage of them on not Dr. Phil, Dr. Drew, or some bullshit TV show, and they're talking about their
Not
first
Dr. Death.
date, and they're both there with their costumes, and sorry, not with their costumes. They're there dressed as the superhero people that they are, and I don't know.
They're there to reveal their true identity.
That happens later in July 2011.
In 2011.
Yeah, he was seen year before last still doing stuff. So just relax. This story, right? There's plenty. 2011, local police recorded 10 citizens patrolling the city in superhero costumes using the names Thorn, Buster Doe, Green Reaper,
Buster Doe?
Don't ask me. The Mantis.
Oh, is that Green
Reaper? Yeah, he's not very good in the garden. Everything he touches just dies. Yeah.
He's not grim.
No, the Green
but
Reaper.
He is pretty envious.
Yep. The Mantis, Gemini.
There were two of them.
My favourite, No Name.
Oh, No Name's great.
Scabra.
Yeah.
Catastrophe, Thunder 88, Penelope.
My favourite's Catastrophe.
I know, Catastrophe, Thunder 88, Penelope, and Pheonix Jones. And I don't know why, but the wiki doesn't mention Purple Rain at all. But she was
Purple
definitely
Rain,
part of the
right.
group. Yeah. And another individual using the pseudonym Red Dragon has also claimed to be a member of the group.
Wow. Catastrophe I love because I feel like they just run around making mockery of everything.
Or being a henny penny.
Oh my God, we're all going to die! Yeah.
So, in all of this, the press were never very far behind. And it was a great news story. I mean, could you imagine being a local reporter?
Oh, gold.
Like, it is. It's just gold.
It sounds like it's straight out of Gotham City.
It's so silly. On Sunday, January the 2nd, 2011, in Linwood, Pheonix Jones stopped and chased away a car thief as the car owner, who identifies himself only as Dan, stood by in shock as Jones ran into action. CBS News introduced Dan and Pheonix Jones to one another the following Monday evening. Dan proceeded to thank Jones numerous times while later talking about Phoenix's gear. He went on about his outfit. A few days later, ABC News aired a news story covering Jones. In this report, footage shows Pheonix Jones preventing an intoxicated man from entering his car. His own car, I believe. Jones threatens...
Saving him from drink driving.
I think so. Jones threatens to use a stun baton as the angry and inebriated man approaches Jones with the intent to fight. In the video, a police officer is shown later talking to Pheonix Jones and his group regarding the effect masks may have on an intoxicated vehicle. Oh, God, an intoxicated individual. Sorry.
I was going to say.
On Saturday, September the 2nd, 2011, in the Belltown neighbourhood of Seattle, Pheonix Jones doused a man with pepper spray after he attempted to steal a bus. The driver of the bus had been handing out flyers when another individual attempted to steal the bus. Jones was reported to have intervened and the hijacker escaped with his skin dyed orange due to the spray. Jones says he didn't receive any help from the Seattle police, who took hours to respond to the incident.
And because he had it all under control.
I can see now why the media are saying he should be allowed to. I quite like him so far.
Maybe the police were busy doing something slightly more important than chasing a wannabe bus thief. So on Sunday, October 9th in 2011, in Seattle, Jones was arrested for his role in an altercation involving pepper spray. Surprise. Close associates who were present and equipped with a video camera, surprise, told reporters that Pheonix Jones broke up an unfair fight between two groups of nightclub patrons. However, those involved had an entirely different perception, and responding police officers determined that there had been no fight, with one member of the group denying that anyone among them had been fighting. They asked that the masked man be arrested for attacking them. According to one woman who was involved, after an argument had broken out between her group and another, Jones suddenly approached and pepper sprayed them, saying,
Brilliant.
"I'm a superhero!"
Yeah.
I'm
with him now.
The next day, videographer Ryan McNamee uploaded a video online showing Jones responding to what McNamee described as a huge fight. McNamee's video shows, and I have seen this, it's very funny, shows just this one woman chasing Jones away with her shoe. Like, get out of here! And she's hitting him with her shoe.
Stiletto
and he is.
woman.
He's just running away from it, like running, walking fast and trying to, like, he's saying, "Oh, I'm being calm," but she's whipping him. Jones was released on bail hours later with no charges having been filed. And of course, a few hours earlier to that, Jones had come to the defense of a potential fight victim. Police arrived after the aggressors had fled. In their report, the police called it a case of questionable use of pepper spray. But the victim later told the Seattle Times that Jones was indeed a hero who had saved him from a potential beatdown.
What was it? Potential what use of pepper spray? Potential
Questionable,
inappropriate.
questionable use of pepper spray.
Does that mean they didn't? They're not sure whether he used it or not, or
It's questionable whether
the
he
use
should have.
of it. Right.
He's
Yeah,
running
gotcha.
around pepper spraying people willy nilly.
I'm loving him. Oh.
I'm a superhero.
I could totally
bitch.
do this.
I'm a superhero.
I wouldn't even bother dressing up. I'd just spray people. Like
I'm
down
a
in
superhero.
Melbourne, people who stand like taking up the whole footpath, like a group of them, I would just totally pepper spray them all because I'm sick of saying "excuse me" or
"This is a thoroughfare. Get off the road."
Yeah, I like him.
On Sunday, November the 27th, 2011, near the Belltown neighborhood of Seattle, Pheonix Jones and crew followed a man accused of stabbing another man. They prevented the attacker from fleeing until the Seattle police arrived. So, they're doing this kind of hanging on to people. On Tuesday, the 1st of May in 2012, a blogger reported that Pheonix Jones had pepper sprayed black bloc protesters in downtown Seattle. Here you go. You love a good...
What are black bloc protesters?
Sorry, a black bloc is a tactic used by protesters who wear black clothing, ski masks, scarves, sunglasses, motorcycle helmets, etc., with padding or other face-concealing and face-protecting items. It's to hinder criminal prosecution by making it hard. But the thing is, why bother pepper spraying them if they've got masks and glasses and stuff? He was down there pepper spraying people.
It's because it's
style.
the only weapon he's got.
Yeah, he can taser them.
Stop.
Yeah, I mean, that's
that's
probably
true.
a bit over the top too. Although he denied it on Twitter, he said he wasn't there. In an interview on the Bob Rivers show on the May 2nd, Pheonix Jones asserted that while undercover with the protesters, several of them revealed to him a plot to bomb the city courthouse. According to Pheonix Jones,
Really?
after telling the police and receiving no support, he and another member of the Rain City superhero movement intercepted the protesters at the courthouse and acted in self-defense as the protesters began throwing rocks and bottles through the windows and glass doors of the courthouse. Fellow costumed activists El Caballero and Midnight Jack accompanied Pheonix Jones.
El Caballero. Do they have like chilies?
Caballero. I said
Not
Caballero,
habanero.
but I'd say it's Caballero. It's Caballero. I don't know. I don't
Caballero.
speak Spanish. Caballero? Yeah,
Cameron.
something. And then again in 2012, he hit the headlines again. Oh, I enjoyed this one for engaging in mutual combat. Now, mutual combat.
What?
Yeah, this is interesting. Mutual combat is legal in Washington where two individuals intentionally and consensually engage in a fair fight. So while not hurting bystanders
Like when
or
they say,
anyone else.
if before they start fighting, they both say game on mole, then start fighting, that's okay?
Yes. If you are mutually engaging.
If
now,
you both say it, not one of them. Yeah.
Yes, but the interesting thing about why he hit the headlines on this is because remember I told you he was an MMA fighter, he's a mixed martial arts fighter.
Yeah.
And he was fighting with some drunk guy. And so the whole thing about
Yeah.
mutual combat is it's meant to be a fair fight with matched partners and they're consenting. So you've got one bloke who can't swing a punch because he's pissed as a newt, and then you've got another actually semi-professional fighter.
But
So it's
how
not
do
okay.
either of you know that it's a fair fight until you start fighting? And then it's too late.
Well, why did he even start fighting? He's picking fights.
Like
I
David,
know, right?
David
He's
beat
just
Goliath.
going around picking fights, Clarky.
I'm okay with that because there are so many people who need it. I haven't heard anything he's done wrong yet.
All right.
Hey, drunk guy. Game on, mole. Bang.
Well, here's another one. He actually did some good stuff here. He prevented a man from being stabbed by holding off a group of men until the police arrived. Deputised to hold the superhero's backpack was amateur hour host and This American Life contributor Jack Hitt, to whom Pheonix Jones later jokingly gave the superhero moniker Blue Corduroy. Hey,
Oh,
I'm-
where do they come up with these?
I'm guessing he was wearing a lot of blue corduroy. I'm Blue Corduroy.
Yeah, I've caught my time machine here from the 70s.
Well, it's not brown. It's not poo brown corduroy.
Yeah.
In September 2015 in Seattle, Washington, Jones spotted 3 men pistol whipping another man and after alerting police, charged the man holding the gun and knocked it out of his hand. The 3 were arrested for assault, with one being charged with possession of a firearm by a felon. And then another time he did try to help the authorities in talking the man in tree down. So some bloke climbed an 80-foot sequoia, but the police rejected the offer. No, we're good, thanks. We're good, thanks, Pheonix. We don't need your help.
No, seriously, please don't taser him. I know he needs it, but no.
Jones, going back to your thing about protesting, Jones was seen patrolling the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone in 2020, and that is a reference to people protesting around Black Lives Matters, I think. Now, a superhero...
He wasn't okay with that?
He was all right with it. I think he was just picking fights. No, he wasn't picking fights. I think he was looking for an opportunity to step in should something be going...
I reckon he was
untoward.
watching,
The wrong
looking
way.
for inappropriate police behaviour.
Possibly. His greatest complaint, from what I can tell about the police, is that they don't act on things or they're not around.
They're too slow.
I don't believe he's complained that they're
Whereas
violent
he's
towards him.
everywhere.
He does seem to get around. And I do mention it later, but remember our mate Tothian, who got one girl out of a freezing river and walked 2 girls home and thinks he's a superhero? I mean, this guy has actually put his money where his mouth is. Yeah.
He's high fat.
He is high fat. He's a superhero. Yeah.
I think he's, as far as real life superheroes go, he is high fat.
Now, he has also sustained some injuries, so he's not, what's the word I'm looking for, indestructible, or, he's not like a Superman who can't be hurt. He has been stabbed, I think, more than once.
Sounds appropriate.
He was shot, but his ballistics vest seemed to have stopped him having a really serious problem. He's been beaten. He's had his nose broken. And I'm not surprising because he runs around looking for... I'm not surprised he runs around looking for fights from what I can tell. So,
It's just a high-risk job. It's all in a day of being a superhero.
Well, yes. And what do the police and local authorities think of him? Because I can tell you, the Seattle City Attorney, Pete Holmes, has called Jones a deeply misguided individual. In October 2011.
In what way?
Yeah, I know, I can't imagine. Jones was
What
arrested.
specifically you mean by that?
Jones was arrested for investigation of assault after using pepper spray to Baker. After using pepper spray. This is one before, right? So no charges. He got bailed.
Arrested for investigation of assault.
Yeah, it's badly written.
So he's arrested whilst they
investigated a charge of assault.
Whether he assaulted someone.
With his favourite tool, pepper spray. This is that fight I was talking about earlier where they said, arrest the costume superhero man. He attacked us. He ran up to them and pepper sprayed a group of people, believing them to be engaging in a fight. He's
just been victimised then.
Well, I don't think he'd like this because I heard also that those people said they weren't even fighting; they were just dancing in the street. And he ran up and pepper sprayed them. I'm a superhero, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think that's cool.
But if they were dancing badly, that's worth pepper spray.
He didn't.
I agree.
He's not the dancing police. I don't think that's what he's out to be. He is a deeply
boot
misguided
Well, it
individual.
depends. Yeah, it's a good question. Was it boot scooting?
Could have been.
No amount of pepper spray could
So-
fix
I'm
that.
not sure he's misguided yet. I'm yet to hear that.
All right. So he posted $3,800 in bail. No charges were filed, and he left, and that was all dropped. Then he went back to court wearing a black and grey striped shirt over his supersuit on October the 13th, 2011. A court officer
Misguided.
asked Jones to remove his mask, and he complied, putting the mask back on after the hearing. Jones then spoke with reporters and removed his mask again to reveal his identity as Ben Foda.
No.
Foda stated that he would continue patrolling the city, but he let everyone know who he was. He said,
That's a mistake.
I will continue to patrol with my team, probably tonight. In addition to being Pheonix Jones, I'm also Ben Foda, father and brother. I'm just like everybody else. The only difference is that I try to stop crime in my neighborhood and everywhere else.
He's
I
just
think
put his brother and his son in the hot seat.
I think I have to look
Yeah,
forward.
that's right.
I think I have to look forward to look towards the future and see what I can do to help the city. So this next bit is from grunge.com. Pheonix Jones did not remain retired from the public eye for very long. On January the 28th, 2020, the Seattle Times revealed that Benjamin Foda, the man who dressed up as a superhero to stop drug dealing from happening in Seattle, was a drug dealer. The two confidential
Oh
witnesses. Bum,
no!
bum,
Just brought him
bum,
all down.
twist.
Oh, I was just thinking we
Twist.
need to get him on and do an episode with him, and then you've come and said
I reckon
that.
he probably would anyway.
Yeah, but now I don't want him.
Two confidential witnesses who told the Seattle detectives that they were shocked he hadn't been caught yet. Even more recently, he became vocal during the protests that arose from the murder of George Floyd and the creation of the autonomous zone in Seattle. MyNorthwest.com reported that Pheonix Jones was out of retirement. As a black superhero and someone who believed that, in his words, Black Lives Matter is a good idea that needs to be pushed in America, Jones nonetheless felt conflicted about the autonomous zone. Black Lives Matter, obviously, everyone agrees with that, but there's a lot of other stuff in there that's kind of weird. And then there's the Antifa angle and all these other different things. But no matter what that is, taking over 6 city blocks is just illegal. So he's anti the protesting bit, I think, by saying you've taken
Is that
it.
what the autonomous zone is?
I think it is. I think it's a Black Lives Matter protest that obviously took this section of the city over for a period of time to make the point. And he's saying you shouldn't be doing that, even though I agree in the Black Lives Matter movement itself. Then he says, perhaps due to such ambivalence, the zone refused, in KUOW's reporting, to allow superheroes in the zone. Jones' capitalized response on Twitter was, so in capitals, shouting, now it's no longer a free zone. First no police, then no whites, and finally no superheroes? Give it a break. I patrol where people need me to be. Jones out.
He sounds like a friend of ours that we used to work at Foxtel with.
So it looks like the fame and infamy of his actions have ultimately been his undoing. And as I said earlier, but unlike our mate Tothian and even, what was his name, Shadow Vision, this guy has actually been very active, and he actually has helped some people not take a beating, caught some villains along the way.
I'm impressed with him.
Yeah.
He is much closer to a superhero than I thought you were going to bring to us today after the earlier
I
ones.
told you, he really is a bit of a superhero. I told you, superheroes are real.
He's brave, but
Some are.
I don't think I said that.
The
But
problem is if there isn't a bad person around, he'll make one up. Or he'll push a borderline on someone.
it's
So would
evil is in
Clarky.
the eye of the beholder. Isn't that what they say?
So would Clarky. You're not bad enough.
Yeah.
Pow! Come on then.
100%.
Come on. We'll do a little bit of, what was
Yeah.
it called? Mutual combat or something?
Fairness to him, though, he only uses
Yeah.
pepper spray, etc. When everybody else is shooting guns at a drop of a
I don't
hat,
hear of a
it's
single
down.
tasering incident in all of that, which is a little bit
I'm
disappointing.
not sure
Well,
they're
I
allowed to
think-
walk around with.
I'm,
He had one in his utility belt.
I wonder whether, yeah, he did, but I wonder whether or not the reason we don't hear about any tasering is that after failing with the net, he was a bit worried about maybe tasering himself.
Or maybe he did actually
Shooting himself in the foot.
taser himself the first couple of times he tried to get it out quickly.
Yeah, and I think also the pepper spray probably incapacitates. It's probably less of a risk of killing someone. I wonder whether or not you'd be worried about the risk of
Oh,
killing
maybe,
someone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Public liability, yeah.
I think he's in the wrong game. If he's dressed as a superhero with a taser on his utility belt and he's worried about killing people with it, don't have it. Get an extra can of capsicum spray.
Pepsicum
Pepper
spray.
I know, right? I got it all too
Pepsi Max
confused
and
then.
capsicum. Pepsicum.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
new flavour.
Capsicum. Drink this. It'll make your eyes water.
In a good way.
Oh,
Zero sugar.
goodness.
Maximum taste. we covered earlier today that you don't believe that people doing charity work are actual superheroes. Okay.
Correct.
Though,
100%.
but there are lots of organisations for superheroes. If you are now thinking this could be a late career change, unfortunately, you'd also have to move to the US because I couldn't find any in Australia unless you want to create your own.
We could set up an Australian branch of. We could do a Cert 3 in superheroism.
We could
Is a
definitely.
female superhero called a superheroine?
No, they just call them superheroes too. Yeah.
That's good because superheroine has
Not a good thing.
Excellent heroin.
other
It's the best heroin
connotations.
you've ever had. Yeah, no,
It's just
it's just
super.
superhero. Yeah. So, as I said, lots of them. There was a group of real life superheroes from all over the United States that called themselves Superheroes Anonymous, who held their first meeting near Times Square in New York City on October the 28th, 2007. And I enjoyed this because they also brought
Was No Name the only one who was there?
a whole bunch of people, but
Because it was anonymous.
But they brought them with them they brought with them a film crew to do a documentary, and they gave interviews to news media. So I'm not feeling that they were particularly anonymous.
Not very anonymous.
And you'll enjoy this because you'll think this is real superheroing in the works. Their activities included cleaning up litter, helping the homeless, and handing out crime prevention materials. And I don't think they meant cans of pepper spray.
That's just annoying. That's not that's not superheroism. It's like when someone wants to wash your windscreen at a traffic lights and you give them $1 or $2. Like, fuck off, mate.
Well, I think there are real life heroes. People who fix my sewer at 38-degree heat for 3 days because I don't want to have to dig 8 meters down. He was a hero, that plumber. Yeah. But anyway, I wouldn't call him a superhero.
Didn't charge you for it either, did he?
I just call him a hero. I wouldn't call him a superhero. That's the difference.
Fucking expensive.
And his outfit
Superman wouldn't...
He just wore shorts and, like hard yakka shorts and a t-shirt. He did not put in the effort with the rubber suit.
Yeah. But not Superman doesn't charge you. So if he charged you, he's not a superhero. He's just a hard worker.
He's just a hero. I've got a whole list of these various ones, which I can't be bothered going into, but there was one I wanted to talk about. KSTP-TV reported on Razorhawk, Geist, and the Great Lakes Hero Guild while they patrolled Minneapolis. The segment was rebroadcast nationally on ABC Overnight News. There's this Extreme Justice League, which was founded by Mr. Extreme, spelled Xtreme. And he regularly...
How else would you spell it if you're a superhero?
Wouldn't put an E in front of it, that's for sure. Regularly patrols San Diego. Again, they look after homeless outreach, safety patrols, and attempting to de-escalate fights. They are a registered non-profit, and they work with local community and the police and are featured in several news stories. Now, I just mentioned Geist, so the whole reason I went through that a little bit was to talk about this dude Geist. Now, he stood out to me because when we were looking at our old mate Tothian had a big bitch about Geist on his blog. And like others, Geist, if you really want to look him up, he's got Facebook pages, some YouTube vids about himself, etc. He's described about starting his real-life superhero journey on April the 6th, 2007. He sold off his comic book collection to assist in funding the transformation. He's known for working alongside many other real-life superheroes and organisations, but Tothian says he's deluded. He says that Geist goes around accusing other superheroes of being federal agents. But here's what Geist says. We're basically normal people who just find an unusual way to do something good. Once you get suited up, you're a hero and you've got to act like one. Wise words.
Really?
He also says, we wear tights so you won't have to. I started to read a book by a bloke called Mark McMullen, where he interviews Geist and some other of these dudes, and he rides around with him. But then I remembered I had better things to do with my life. He and Tothian had an encounter. Now, this is pretty much wrapping this story up for you, but when I read this, I could not help but read homoerotic overtones in this whole next passage.
What?
Tell me what you think. Okay. This is Tothian talking about when he met Geist. So anyway, We meet in New York City on Sunday, October 28th, 2007. According to my superhuman memory, we met at approximately 12:48 around the corner of 48th Street and 7th Avenue. We had the most fun day. We helped out some homeless people, which is not usually my main duty as Tothian, as I am a warrior. But they were there and needed help, and we had the means, so hey, why not? At the end of the day, I said, hey guys, you think we should ask those ladies if they want to go drinking with us? I thought he was going to say something like, no, man, that sounds fun, but I'm a married man. But he was like, yeah, man, sure. So I got up to them and I go up to them and I say, hey, would you ladies like to go drinking with us? And they were like, sure. But then Life overheard, I don't know who Life is, if it's a
Yeah, me
metaphor or a
neither.
person. Life overheard and was like, all right, get the cameras. So we all went there and drank and talked and had fun. After everyone left, it was just Geist and me. As we left, years later, we would debate whether it was a patrol or not. He said if he drinks, he's not on patrol. If I saw something going on, I would do what I felt I should do. And you want to know why? Because I'm Tothian. So he's like, so where you headed? I told him I'd get on the next train home. He said, well, my hotel has a extra bed if you want to crash there for the night.
Mm.
I'm like, you don't mind? He smiles and says, no, I don't mind. So I'm like, cool. We get pizza and back at his hotel room, and I use, that's what it said, and I use bathroom, not the bathroom, just I use bathroom. I come out and he's nervously standing there. Tothian, please don't be mad. You dropped
You dropped the soap?
you dropped your military ID and I looked at it. But here's mine. So he hands me mine and his, and I memorized his. Because unlike many of my former friends who became enemies, I have respect and mercy to an extent. Not for my always enemies, but for my former friends who became enemies. So I won't be
My always enemies.
I won't be posting his name or address here at this time, but I do know it. Anyway, he asked, so you're not mad? I laughed. I was like, no, I'm not mad. And he was relieved. Next day,
Neck minute.
I feel like there's a lot left out of what happened in the subsequent
Yeah,
12
yeah,
hours.
yeah.
Next day, we both leave and we head home. I check Heroes Network Forum and he sent me a message, subject title, something like, hey, how are you, bud? I was so happy to hear from him. Sorry. Actually, I can't help but read this as a budding romance. But anyway, but when I opened the email, it was an eerily long email accusing me of being a Fed. I thought, this must have to be a joke. But the more I read, the more the idea of it being a joke seemed to slowly diminish. I was amused and flattered. I mean, many people in life think I give off a secret agent vibe. It's a superhero thing. Anyway, I'm not making
Oh,
this
no.
up.
He's a wanker.
He's such a whack job. Anyway, last paragraph. February 2010. Guys turned against me for wrecking a forum I created, but was nice enough to let someone else run temporarily. But he didn't turn against them for doing it to me in June 2008 when I ran it. His excuse
It's
was
not fair.
his excuse was, oh, well, that was different. He was right, but in the wrong way. The huge difference is that those who did it to me made me think everything was fine until after they did it. And I forgave them. And 2007 and 2008 were happy, fun years in the superhero community. But 2009 and 2010 were horrible years. The Heroes Network was run by Zimmer, who was basically the antichrist of the superhero community. When he ran the Heroes Network, it was no longer a happy, fun place anymore. People were constantly being threatened by the moderators like Zero, the diagnosed sociopath, for example. And yet, that went entirely ignored by the admin and other moderators. Ugh, constant slander. It was horrible. I had to leave my own creation. And unlike the deceptiveness I had to deal with, I let them know if the threats and slander did not stop, I shut down my creation. Solaris, one moderator, did help me though. Anyway, they didn't forgive me though my action was justified. Theirs was not. But the idea is Geist was being hypocritical and for a while after that called me his frenemy. Okay, whatever.
His frenemy.
Oh, I've heard it all.
And it's about that time you realise that real life superheroes have the actual IQ of an 8-year-old.
Well, this is when,
Right.
well, except for our mate, because we
Not fair.
and they ruined it. They spelled it first, and then I didn't do anything. Wow.
Exactly.
Anyway, talk about the pot calling the kettle deluded Tothian. It does seem to me that the world of superheroes is akin to a toxic high school experience. So much bitching in public forums. So there you go. You have a potted view on the world of real superheroes. The big question here is, and I know you have the question about what would our superhero powers be, but do you feel safer knowing that these people are out there patrolling the mean streets of the world?
Absolutely not. No, I feel like I should be medicated in a psychiatric ward.
Oh, isn't that a cracker?
Apart from
I told you that was
Pepper
fun.
Spray Man.
Oh, I know you love you like a bit of Pheonix Jones, don't you?
I reckon, yeah, no, I wish if I was to reinvent him from scratch, he would have 8 arms. Like, what's that Indian goddess who has
Oh,
8 hands?
Medusa?
no.
No, she's the
I know who you mean, but I
Greek.
can't think of. Is she the one of war?
goddess of war, yeah. And she
Yeah.
has like 8 arms or 6 arms or something.
She's
And
got
I
a
feel
lot of
like he
arms,
should
yeah.
have that, but with pepper spray in each hand. In fact, not even have hands, just have pepper spray outlets. And he could just run around going, yeah, you
It'd be
know,
great in the crowd.
shit dancing, almost gonna fight.
Some other superhero runs up behind him with the same 8 arms, but
Milk.
instead, milk and yogurt to cool them all down.
Yeah.
You know, every
arch
superhero
enemy.
is an arch enemy. That's it. And
Yeah.
your Pheonix Jones's arch enemy is, I don't know,
Is
Milkmaid.
Milkman.
Milkman. We've got to come up with something better than Milkman. But
What's that lady's name? Khalees. La 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 la.
my milkshake brings all the boy to the yard.
Brings all the
They're
boys to
like,
the yard.
It's
Damn
better
right.
than yours.
It's better than yours.
That's what she would play while she fought him.
Da, 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 da.
He'd be spraying capsicum and she'd be going, my milkshake
The eyes
brings all
are
the boys to
hurting.
the
The eyes are
Yeah.
hurting. Da, 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 da. Yeah. Back to your question earlier. What superhero power would you go for if you could have one? And I still haven't given it
Well,
thought
given
because I was too busy enjoying.
Given that it's
Toby
my
and his
question, I think you
nuttiness.
should answer first.
Oh, shh! I was trying to stall for time still.
I think I'd have a few, and I'd have to probably rate them. I think there'd have to be like a test so that you could go, you know, I've got all of these superpowers, but which ones are actually super? Because I could totally eat like a 250, the 175 gram packs of chips now.
Oh, so we're talking about things that we do that we're going to call a superpower as opposed to a real superpower.
What isn't that what we've been talking about for the last hour?
Okay, I was just checking. I'm glad that I've clarified because it'd be really embarrassing if I said, "Oh, X-ray vision would be great." You'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Oh,
What the
weirdo! But instead, I just have to upskirt.
Oh yeah, no. I'm like more looking at, but I don't even know why X-ray vision would be good. It was just an example of something someone would call one.
Yeah, so like totally eat a big packet of chips. You know, when I come home from work, I could do with a handful of chips, and then all of a sudden the whole packet's gone. That's a real one.
I definitely think I have a real superpower in.
No, you're not going to mention that one.
Your magic pussy.
No, not at all. No, because I think everyone's misunderstood what the magic pussy is. The magic pussy is an ugly person managing to get laid a lot. I'm not ugly. Do you mind? Anyway.
How very
And don't
dare
get
you.
laid a lot.
Oh, enough. Anyway.
Enough. Yeah.
I'm nearly 48. I'm 48 this week. You know, that'll do. No, I was thinking more about my singing. And I was saying to Tony the other day, because I was walking the dog and it was getting dark. And I thought, you know how they say if you get attacked, don't yell out rape or help or yell out fire.
I'm being attacked.
Or you yell out fire or something like that. And I was like, and really you shouldn't scream either, because if you were screaming, you'll lose your voice really quickly. So I was like, I'll be like, help, That's my superpower.
Yeah, nice. I like it.
I had to turn away from the mic
Yes.
so I didn't completely deafen you then.
So you can crack glasses. Your superpower could be if you could.
I can't actually do that. I don't have
I
that
was
ability.
just
but
talking
yeah.
for the show.
Right.
Um,
Content.
But
Go on then.
if you could move it from glasses to testicles, you could stop any male bad person.
Boom.
Oh,
You've got to be
Jesus,
able to
that
control
really
that because you don't want to do that to every male in a
No,
5
it's
mile
On a
radius.
bus,
True,
for
yeah.
instance.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, you'd have to be targeted with it.
absolutely, yeah. But
Yeah.
you know, it's like Peter Parker's uncle did say: with extreme power or something power comes extreme responsibility. I'm the kind of person who
That's
just, if
true.
I was a bit cross, watch those testes.
Yep. I'll just do it to every man in a 10-meter radius. I won't go too crazy.
Fuck the patriarchy.
You'd be a women's movement superhero for sure.
No, only the really radical feminists, and I don't even. I find that all too radical. But yeah, so yours is eating chips, drinking wine,
Negotiating.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
that's
drinking
fair.
wine, negotiating.
Oh, maybe I think Stuart means being offensive.
Yeah, I wasn't going to be that rude though.
negotiating. Yeah,
That would-
Yeah.
I can
That wouldn't
imagine
be a
them calling
superhero
you.
power. That would be like
I can imagine them calling
an
you.
arch.
Hang on a minute. I've got it.
There's a person holding someone ransom, holding them with a gun, and they call in Clarky to do the negotiation. What do you want, you fucking idiot? Come out here.
We were even in a training thing at work today, and I had to listen to a grumpy customer. And I was like, yeah. Anyway, so what do you need? And we had to do a wind up at the end, and the bloke who was running it said, I was looking for a little bit more empathy. I'm like, yeah, well, I do this every day, and I don't really have time for you to wow. So what do you really want? And then I'll go and make that happen.
Well, I think the interesting thing about saying I was looking for empathy is, so what? If I feel sorry for you, but I still can't do anything for you, who gives a shit if I empathise with you or not?
Yeah.
That's right. If you just want to wow,
Zero
ring
value.
someone else.
Exactly. Oh, sorry. You were looking for a bit more of my time so that you could just say shit that I've got no control over. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just pop you on hold.
Needy.
Just talk into my voicemail. I'll get back to that.
That's right.
Hey, I'm just going to pop you through to Pizza Hut.
Was it,
So what
Paul?
was it that
We've had a 30-something year career of customer service. Can you tell? Through the two of us.
Yeah,
I'll just
I
pop
know,
you on
right?
hold.
Yeah, that's right.
Are our superpowers got to be effective in crime? Or
No.
are they-
No.
I think they're just
right.
anything.
Right.
See, I'm not the only slow,
I
slow on
know-
the uptaker.
No, well, I know how effective eating a bag of chips is.
Against
but-
crime.
Yeah, so I understand your confusion, but no, they don't have to be.
It's a hard one.
Other superpower is getting people to resign.
Oh, I'm good at that.
That is a good power. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
That's
massive
really
power.
good.
You need to use
Yeah,
your
yeah,
power
that
for
is a
good, not
skill.
evil.
Correct.
People say you've got to do this and you've got to do that and blah, 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 and you've got to have a paper trail. I'm like, no. Let's just have a little sit down and chat. And then they're gone. It's great. Oh, that's probably another special power.
Making people cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Made
Yeah,
his boss
I
cry.
have fallen victim to that power of yours in the past. Yes, I agree. That is.
If that was a way to stop a stabbing, that would be a very useful power, Tony.
I think your ability to make people cry. Well, I'm just speaking from my personal experience. Is generally also helped by the amount of alcohol we've consumed prior to the moment where you make me cry.
Yeah.
It doesn't
in
happen
fact,
like
I
within
think
the
it's
first
just-
5 minutes of a
it's-
catch up.
No, it's just coincidental that I happened to be talking at the time you drunk so much that you needed to cry. Tony, what would yours be?
I think it would be the
Cunnilingus.
inverse of something I'd
too
have
much.
right now.
It's quite good at it.
Like
I've
a
gotta
short
say.
tongue.
What did you?
I
Oh,
said
right.
cunnilingus.
Right. Just
How do you think he got throat cancer? Too much cunnilingus.
Cunning linguist.
Yes, he's a very good at language, aren't you? Good chat.
Good chat.
Good job. Yeah.
What about yours,
no,
Will?
I've been good chatting.
I reckon you could patience things to death.
Patience things. Yeah,
Oh,
very, very
yes.
patient.
Endless amount of patience.
Far too much patience.
Oh, yeah.
That is absolutely
You
true.
could. You also have an incredible ability to save at vomiting drunk. We've
Oh,
all
yeah.
witnessed that.
Yep.
Yep.
That's also a very good.
Many
secret.
occasions, 2 people on the podcast as we speak.
Tony's never
Brilliantly.
spewed up with you, has he?
Me.
I know. It was a joke.
Oh, and yeah, no, we've already.
And on the
spoken
same
about
night,
the curry
you
plant
two.
incident.
Yeah,
Curry
and
plant
look,
incident. And
not only did well, we didn't save the curry plant, but you hydrated me and helped me out. But
Yeah.
you also washed my clothes because I'd spewed all over
Yeah.
them and put me to bed.
That is
Yeah.
a superpower.
It was incredible.
That's a real superpower.
Yeah.
Better
Just
than
the sweetest-
fundraising.
Well, it is better than fundraising.
Now that's a
It was the
superhero.
sweetest thing.
Not a superpower. That's a
That is.
superhero.
To wake up the next
Hero.
day wanting to die and mortified and knowing that your vomity clothes were already washed, it was special.
washed.
But I think Tony, it becomes a superpower when he's been drinking as much as we have, and he can still do all of that.
And clean up vomit. I don't
It's
have
not
this.
like he's sober
I
doing
don't go
that.
out in sympathy. Yeah.
Yes, it is a superpower. I think you two both also have a superpower in your ability to remember the lyrics of almost every song you've ever
Oh.
heard and sing them loudly for 17 hours with your microphones out the back of
In
your
the back
place.
room.
Yes. All right. Well, that was my story about superheroes, and I don't know if I feel like the world is a safer place. I hope that the superheroes out there look after themselves and don't put themselves or other people in danger if they are insisting on being vigilantes. And I hope that they don't get in the
Yes.
way of police, because police actually do have an important job to do, and they're actually trained also as to what they're supposed to do.
Also,
Correct.
That's my little
although
PSA
there
for that. Thank you very much, guys. That was amusing, and miss you already.
Up, up and away.
Hey. Oh, God. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Trial by Wine. You can contact us at trialbywine@gmail.com. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Trial by Wine on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you'd like to support us, you can become a patron at www.patreon.com, Trial by Wine, or visit our website www.trialbywine.com to donate to us. Your support will help us cover many more cases and apply wacky sentences. We really appreciate you listening and hope you tell everyone about us. Our cover art is by John Christo and music is by Beauchamp from pixabay.com.